Hello, my name is Faisal Khan. I'm a banking and a payment consultant. I want to talk today what it takes to become a payment aggregator, especially with respect to accepting cards. So as a payment service provider, you can go to a payment service provider and get your merchant account from them. They work with an acquiring bank, etc. But if you want to become an aggregator, meaning if you want to have merchants underneath you, and you want to provide them with merchant processing capabilities, you need to become what is called a payment facilitator, a PF, P as in payment, F as in facilitator, also known as PayFac for short. A payment facilitator is basically a program you will enroll with Visa and MasterCard as a PF, and only then can you have merchants under you and work with the correspondent bank. So you will basically be doing the underwriting for the merchants who will be working under you. You will be responsible. You will be working with the acquiring bank, and you will take at least a significant portion of the risk from a monetary point of view with the bank for the merchants that you will underwrite. You cannot just unilaterally or arbitrarily become a PayFac or a payment facilitator, or just go into some zone and say, hey, you know what, I just want to become a payment facilitator and offer merchant IDs to everyone. It just doesn't work that way. There are two videos I want you to see. The first one is up here, and it relates to what, the zones, the different zones that are available. You have, the MasterCard Visa zone for North America. You have one for Europe, you have one for UK, you have one for GCC, for India, for South Asia, for Pakistan, etc., for Sub-Saharan Africa. You must understand the zones. And the second video that I want you to see up here is what is a third-party payment processor, because a lot of people who are trying to do this are basically trying to become a third-party payment processor rather than a payment facilitator. So a payment facilitator is a much more involved process. It's a much more expensive process. Becoming a principal member with Visa or MasterCard takes a lot of money, takes a lot of technology, takes a lot of compliance. It is not something where you can just say, oh, you know what, I have got $10,000 sitting around and I want to become a payment facilitator. A payment facilitator, for example, let's say you are based in Nigeria and you want all the Nigerian merchants under you, and you want to take provide payment processing from the United States. It just doesn't happen that way. You can become a third-party payment provider in the US and offer it to your Nigerian merchants. But becoming a PayFac in Nigeria, you would most likely have to work with Nigerian banks, Nigerian acquiring banks, and work with, obviously Visa and MasterCard, and become a principal member over there. So a payment facilitator is a much more involved process, much more expensive, much more time consuming. You cannot just unilaterally start offering merchant services to the merchants under you and just go to an acquiring bank and say, I want to become an aggregator or a super merchant. It just doesn't exist that way. You still have to work with an acquiring bank, ask them to sponsor you for becoming a PayFac, and apply with Visa and MasterCard, and only then you can become a PayFac. Any other setup is pseudo PayFac. So you could become, they use the word, super merchant a lot. Now, a super merchant is nothing more than simply the acquiring bank having, direct relationships with all the merchants, except that it comes through you and you are somehow have a revenue share in that. You still might or might not get to share the risk portion of it, but it doesn't make you a PayFac per se. So I hope I was able to give you some sort of an explanation on that. As always, there's a contact form in the description below. Fill it out and I'll be happy to answer your question. I've also started a WhatsApp for business. The telephone number is underneath in the description. You can also use that for a quick shortcut. As always, if you have any other question or comment, please use the contact form or the WhatsApp and get in touch with me. Till next time, this is Faisal Khan signing off.